All right, good morning, trade pros. Welcome to our morning market update for this beautiful Tuesday, August the 11th. I hope you're having a great day so far. Good morning. And we got quite a few things to cover today, the morning market update. So let's jump right into it. I'm still in the home office here. I miss going to our office at Trade Pro, but it's quite a distance. I'm expecting a baby anytime. And, I'm trading from home, which has its own comforts. I get to be close to my wife, and that's fun. All right, so let's talk about a few things this morning. Russia is putting a little bit of bullish sentiment into equity markets this morning. Vladimir Putin through the RIA Novosti, which is it was a Russian newspaper run by the government, but it is now more of a free media or a free press. All right, but Vladimir Putin said, as far as I know, a vaccine against a new coronavirus infection has been registered this morning for the first time in the world. He declared, he said that it works quite effectively, forms a stable immunity, and he repeats, has passed all necessary checks and regulatory approvals. And he even said his own daughter got vaccinated as part of a clinical trial. All right, if this is true and if this vaccine works, it's going to be a pretty big game changer for how we look at coronavirus, how it's perceived. It'd probably be a little bit more lax on the social distancing. More businesses will open up, and hopefully it's true. That would be fantastic news. All right, at the end of July, the World Health Organization said that there are 26 candidate vaccines that are currently being in the evaluation stage, including one that was registered in Russia. The company that developed it was called Gamaleya Research Center. So that's something worth looking into if you're curious or interested in this news. But this will put some upside, some positivity into the market. And so, I demand Russia gets investigated for stock market collusion on this news, but it's up and it's good. Stock market's taking this. Look, if Russia claims to have done it, then that means they're pretty close. Whether it's past the trials or not, we can't speculate. We don't really know, right? But that means they're getting close. And overall, as a sentiment, it's still bullish because there's some companies getting closer to it. So now there's an expectation almost. Markets always rally before the event. By the time the news comes out, there's an official formal vaccine that could cure people. The market's going to dump. The rally would have already been priced in. And this is how it starts. News like this. So this is quite a bit of upside, pretty bullish sentiment early on. And there's more bullish sentiment. And then I'm going to poop the party a little bit. I'm sorry. I have to bring it back down to earth. All right. I believe in gravity still. Tax cuts. In addition to several executive actions Donald Trump's put out, all right, that included a payroll tax holiday, Donald Trump said he's very seriously considering a capital gains tax cut, all right, which would create a lot more jobs. Now, Donald Trump can't slash the capital gains tax with the 20% long-term capital gains rate without any congressional approval, but he can try to do an executive order to inflation. If you guys know where inflation's at, it's damn near zero. It's under 2%. And so that would be a reduction of the capital gains tax by a lot. All right. It would be when indexed to inflation. People are questioning whether or not he could do that with an EO and a legal perspective. The point is there's an interest here in some tax cuts, which puts a little bit of bullish sentiment. I don't think really the market takes this with any grain of seriousness, but there is some consideration. Last time Donald Trump said he would do something, he did do an EO the same week. And so this is something we could look in. We'll see how it develops. At this point, I would say it's not really contributing to the rally, but it is something that's super interesting. All right. When you look at this, though, it's going to benefit a lot of the higher income families for a tax cut, especially on capital gains. So that's something that's interesting. He also said he wanted to do something for the middle class, but there's no time to negotiate for an official bill before the election. I don't think anybody wants to negotiate before the election. They want to win first. I guess election time is no time for bipartisan politics. Sad, unfortunately, it's true. All right. Let's talk about one more thing. Extended employment benefits. This is interesting to me. This is some of my own research. From April to July, from April to July, how much money did the federal government spend on these employment benefits, the $600 a week paycheck program? You guys know? Take a guess. Just take a shot. I just love to see where your head's at on this because it surprised me, actually, to be honest with you. 50 billion, says Michael in our trading room. You know what, Michael? It's slightly higher. All right. Since no one else is guessing, come on, trade pros, where you at? Yeah, Vicky, I've already got that on there. 250 billion, says Adamson. 80, 120, 50 and a half. All right, a gazillion zillion, says Chris. Chris, you're close. $250 billion, right? When you think about how much money the Fed has printed, that's not a lot of money. The Fed this year has created $3 trillion worth of cash out of thin air. Control P on a keyboard. Circulated it to a bank, fractional reserve banking. That's now 10 times bigger from the time it touches the first bank, another 10 times the second time it touches a bank. Because you only can put 10% into the reserves and lend 90, create more money on the back of money that's been printed anyway. $3 trillion from the Fed, all right? So for 4 months, it costs $250 billion to pay people $600 a week directly into their bank account. All right, the Fed printed $3 trillion, enough for 4 years of unemployment benefits. All right, so where did this money go? If the Federal Reserve cares about people and unemployment and all these other things, where did this money go? And how come it's so hard for them to print some more money to extend this program? Tell you guys the truth, and I think you guys all know this, the Federal Reserve doesn't work for the people. It works for the stock market. That's exactly where it's gone. Via banks, via liquidity, it's been injected into the stock market. It's pumped prices higher. Get this, since the pandemic in the stock market to where we were about 2 or 3 days ago, because I haven't repeated this calculation, the Federal Reserve spent how many dollars per point on the S&P 500? Think about this. The rally has happened mostly due to the Federal Reserve creating money. It hasn't happened because the economy's gotten better. All right, let's be real with ourselves. Here's the number. $2.3 billion per point. So yes, this S&P 500 has rallied hundreds of points off these lows, but it's cost $2.3 billion of exposure of newly created money to gain each point on this way up. All right, an S&P 500 contract without full margin costs around $150,000 USD. All right, that's no margin at all. You're paying for full exposure, 50 times the index. Think about how much more the Fed has spent to get this rally going. Yeah, it prevented a collapse in the stock market. Sure, but with 1/3 of American renters that can't pay their rent still to this day for August, all right, it hasn't really helped too many people. And so that's kind of the realization that we have to come to when you're looking at markets versus economy. You know, what we're doing as traders versus what it's creating as an economic benefit. So just keep that in mind, all right? Be very reflective of this. Brian says, but it's worth it because it's an election year. Right. And today what I think is happening is we're going out for nachos, new highs on the close. I don't think the Fed's finished creating money yet. I think the Fed's going to print trillions more this year. They have to. With a budget deficit of trillions of dollars, where are you going to get this money from? Foreigners aren't buying U.S. treasuries the way they did. The Fed's going to monetize it. They're going to create money out of thin air. All right, they're going to dilute the value of your U.S. dollar purchasing power. All right, and it's happening globally. It's not just the U.S. Look at Europe; they're doing the same thing. Japan's been doing it for decades. All right, so yes, we're getting to new all-time highs. Woohoo! Let's celebrate because I think there's going to be an opportunity here for day trading. But don't you forget that you still have to do good in this world because there's still people that need us. All right, take advantage of this market. Be kind to others. Make something happen. Something positive with your earnings. Create some opportunity for others. All right, in today's markets in Asia, Japan's up 1.9, Hong Kong's up 2.1 as well, China down 1.2, India down 0.6. In Europe at midday, London's up 2.4, Paris up 2.6, Frankfurt up 2.6. Huge rally in Europe, and that sparked the upside in the U.S. as well. Dow's up 1.1, S&P's up 0.7, Nasdaq's up 0.5%. Overnight high traded to 33.79 on the S&P 500 futures. We're within 20 points of all-time highs. And today could be the day we get it. There's a lot of buy stops or short sellers that are going to capitulate above that all-time high. It ain't going to be easy to get through the all-time high. You'll see some resistance. You'll see some sellers move in. All right, but it's a target, target at 5 points below. Those 33.90s, good place to take some profit and get out because the all-time high on the S&P 500 futures is 97.5. All right, crude oil is up 1.6. Gold is down 2%. I'm looking at a pretty nice profit this morning. We got the short on gold around the 60s, 2060. So we're riding it down for almost $100 per ounce. I sent out an email to our email list this morning explaining the situation. And I still think with all this printing, gold's going to eventually move higher So right now, it's way overdone. Too many retail traders bought the top. I had to buy the puts. I usually look for certain criteria before I fade big, and all the criteria was there. I had to pull the trigger. I'll tell you guys what, the trading room was like, wow, what a great trade. You took no pressure or heat at all, and you made a ton of money so quickly. A lot of that was, I see what I see and I do what I do, and I make the trade. But a lot of that is also luck. Look, nobody was expecting gold to drop 3% in 2 days. I was expecting a pullback, but I expected it to take a little bit more time. So we kind of moved through this process a lot quicker. This morning, you better believe I'm taking some profit. All right, under 2,000, I'm going to get paid cash out and wait out next opportunity. Gary, that's for you because you asked, do I feel like I missed the pullback on gold? Like to get long, Viore, I did miss it. I had an order 70 cents below where it traded. I think it was 14.50.20 was my limit order, and it went up down to 14.50.90. Would I have held this way? No. In retrospect, everyone could be a genius investor. Just buy the low here, buy the high here. It's all about the hard right edge, right? So I think we're all deceiving ourselves when we go back in time and make hypothetical scenarios of where we would have got in. Because the truth is, if you would have got in there, you would have got in. You'd be in, right? And so I can't really look at that and say, missed it. Yeah, I missed it, but it causes me absolutely no emotional pain whatsoever. The markets have been around longer than you've been alive for. You've missed more trades in your life than you're ever going to take, right? It's not a sport of taking all the trades. It's getting the right ones and confirming them properly, all right? And that's the truth. That's how it goes. All right, there's always another trade coming. If you miss this opportunity, there's always another one. And I have 19 target on gold to as low as 19.20, and there you should see some support for many reasons. Oh, Ilves, yeah, I got the short. I got it that day. Literally in the morning, we got in the trading room together. I put on a trade, and literally as soon as I put it on, it started dumping. I got the timing a little bit. It was a little bit fluky, but the idea stands, and that was the trade idea right there. And we got it good. Got the gold short. Pat ourselves on the back and move on because we're only as good as our last trade. But I love you guys. Thank you, YouTube. Hopefully that helped on today's. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name properly. Ilves, I think. Crude oil is up 1.6% this morning. Gold's down like we talked. Bitcoin down a percentage point. 12 p.m. Fed's daily speaking, and then 1 p.m. results of a $48 billion 3-year note auction. No other big news items for the day. Trading on technicals. I think we're close enough that the S&P wants to go out there and sniff out what happens in the 90s. All right. At the end of the day, though, predictions are just that. It's an idea. And if you knew where the markets are going, you'd be rich already, and you wouldn't be on a YouTube morning market update. You'd be somewhere, in the Caribbean, pina coladas, with trillions of dollars of cash in your bank account. Nobody knows where it's going. So all we have is real-time price action. Let's see what happens in real time, qualify these trades. Let's do this. I love you all, YouTube. Be careful out there. Manage that risk, trade like a TRADEPRO, and take advantage of these opportunities. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Take care and goodbye.